Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jenny McCafferty for the Michigan Golfer, and with me is Steve Forrest from Hills, Forrest and Smith Golf Architecture Firm. And Steve, the firm is involved in international golf, and recently we actually saw a European Tour tournament being played on a course in Sweden, and it's called the Arthur Hills course. Wow, that was really exciting. Tell us about that course.
It's the Hills Golfklubb in just outside of Gothenburg, Sweden. They pronounce it Göteborg. So,
I'll stick with Gothenburg. Good.
We were very fortunate to have a client there who had done his homework. He had many skills. A young fellow named Martin Sternberg. He played golf. He had a PGA Tour, not a PGA Tour card, but he was a PGA professional. He had experience as a golf course superintendent. He eventually had his own construction company. He was an owner, and the reason that we got involved with him is he was attending a golf industry show or a PGA show in Florida, and he heard Arthur talk about environmentally sensitive courses. We'd done Bonita Bay and several others that, Collier's Reserve, which was the first Audubon signature course, and he knew that with the Scandinavian conservation and environmental sensitivity qualities that you experience, that Arthur was the right man for the job. So he hired Arthur Hills, Steve Forrest and Associates at the time, to design his golf course in Sweden. And he grew up in Gothenburg, and he had researched many sites. And it's not easy to put together land, but he put together enough land for a golf course there. And we really didn't know what was there because there were many, many beautiful spruce and evergreen trees. Not until we started walking the golf course did we discover these beautiful rock outcrops. They ended up being on every hole. He put together the money by securing corporate sponsorships and memberships, and he eventually built this golf course. And he had the goal of hosting the Scandinavian Masters. They just kind of called it that generally then. So Martin got it started and built this golf course, and he was finally able to see his dream come true with the Nordea Masters being hosted there a few months ago.
So the rock outcroppings and the trees are one of the features. What are some other features of the course?
Well, it's a quite hilly golf course because of these rocks. If you go down, you have to go back up. So in the routing of the golf course, you have to be careful that you're not playing into a rock face. They did use dynamite to blast one or two green sites to get them to the elevations that work with play. It works really well in terms of the Clubhouse Sighting. It's up on a high hill, and you've got just panoramic views of 1, 9, 10, and 18. There's a wonderful short game practice facility further around the corner that you can go there, and it's just like you're in your own private wilderness to practice golf. So,
wow. Were you able to see any of the tournament?
I watched a lot of it on television, yes, and it was fun to see how the course has evolved over the years and how players are playing the golf course. I will say Martin had the vision that this golf course should be 7,600 yards long. So in the early 2000s, that was really forward thinking to realize that players were going to keep hitting the ball further and further. We had 7 sets of tees originally planned on that golf course. And over there, they don't call them red, white, and blue tees. They typically will just call them by the first 2 numbers of the length of the golf course. So if it's a 70,000 or 7,000 yard golf course, those are the 70 tees. And I think we had like 43, 47, 52, 57, 60, 67, and 7.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I know which tees to play.
Yeah.
So a lot of innovative ideas come out of Scandinavia, I got to say. Okay. So Martin Sternberg created his dream course in the Gothenburg area, and it was kind of fun. So he went looking for other sites, And this time he thought it would be really terrific to find a sandy site, no rock whatsoever. And he thought we could sculpt a link style course, and you'd normally think that's on the water. Well, we found, I think, the geographic center of Sweden and said, yes, this is where we will build our links course. That's right. But it was a beautiful sandy site, went very deep. We were able to excavate sand, and we truly created an inland links style golf course. He knew what he's doing. It's and I like the way he names them too. He uses names that translate the same into English and Swedish. So Hills was the same translation. And so he named this golf course, what do you think? Sand Golf Course. Okay. Because it was a sandy site. It went on to become one of the top 100 golf courses outside the United States. So that's two. A third course that we went to, because we had done this work on hills and sand, a course to the south near Malmo, in a town called Helsingborg, Vasatorp Golfklubb, wonderful golf course facility. They had 54 holes. And when you go out and see junior golfers in Sweden, they're out there in 30-degree weather hitting golf balls off a driving range in their coats. I mean, it's just fantastic to see the golf participation in Sweden. So again, this was a club that had 54 holes already. There was one 9 holes that was kind of a lesser 9. And so they wanted to create a championship golf course on some additional farmland they had that was just totally flat, and take the other 9 that wasn't very good and convert it into a championship golf course. And that's what we did. They said, we really like sand, but we don't want as many steroids there. We want it sandy and hilly. Okay. And they created a championship course. It hosted the Ladies European Tour, I think in 2015 through 2017. So it was called the Helsingborg Open.
How do you take a not so storied 9-hole course and turn it into a championship course? I can't imagine.
What we did is actually we reversed the routing. You've heard of St. Andrews. They play it backwards, and another course or two in Michigan and Oregon that are reverse courses. So essentially what we did is we reversed the routing and worked it in this farmland on the outside. So it wasn't just a complete reverse, but it's kind of a puzzle work to make it work. But it seemed to work best to change the direction of play, and it all worked out. And from that, we eventually went back and renovated what they call their classic course, or the Gamla course, which means old in Sweden. And Naya is new, so they thought, well, we won't call it the old course. We'll just call it the classic course. So that's what they did going into the future. And yeah, they do too. So it was just a wonderful opportunity that Martin Sternberg introduced us to. We even left the Swedish border and went up to Oslo Golfklubb and did a major renovation up there for them. And so I love Scandinavia and the modern design and kind of simplicity of the Scandinavian lifestyle.
Yes, so you must have put in a few more frequent flyer miles for that.
We did, yes. Amsterdam to Gothenburg. So.
Wow. So international courses are mostly in Scandinavia, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, did Oitavos Dunes in Portugal and course in Morocco. That's called at Shrifia. So that was a fun project that we can talk about maybe another time. But.
Wow, so we're on to a new continent, so there will be more later. Thank you very much, Steve Forrest.
Thank you.